Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Kenzie's Krimes.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a North Side apartment.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
This is evil, what those people have done to me.
She says Heaven's Gate awaiting.
I'm not guilty.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with another edition of Kenzie's Krimes, a deep dive into a local murder mystery drama that Kenzie brings to all of us, myself, Case, and you. And we don't know what it is. Only Kenzie knows. So, Kenzie, we're sitting back. We're ready. Tell us a story.
Okay, let's get into it. These are your people, Case. We're going to start off in New Albany, Indiana, 1988. So 24-year-old David Ray Camm.
And by the way, that's not only his people, the state, but the year, 1988, a good year for Case.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm a big 80s guy, famously. Nothing bad happening then.
Well, it's not about to get much better. So.
All right, give it to me.
Let's go.
David Ray Camm met 23-year-old Kimberly Starr Wren. And not long after meeting, they got married in the spring of 1989. So pretty quick engagement and marriage. The same year, David was accepted into the Indiana State Police as a trooper recruit. Both his professional and personal life were honestly thriving. So on February 1st, 1993, they had the birth of their first child, a son named Bradley. And what seemed to be like the perfect life, in 1994, David started having an affair with Stephanie McCarty.
What?
I know. A young woman he met well at the gym. This is why I don't let men go to the gym.
Well, why get healthy to live a long life? Because
Yeah.
there's all these other women in there in those outfits.
Well, yeah, you want to live a long life.
What are those outfits?
You know when you go to the gym.
I don't, because I don't go to the gym.
You know those whores at the gym.
I didn't realize that was the gym. I got to start going.
I mean, if you've been paying attention, everything was going happy. He goes to the gym and he cheats on his wife.
Man, I got to find some of these, ladies.
Like, okay,
I
you
didn't want to say
live.
whores. I got to cover. I didn't want to say whores.
Only I can say that. No. Okay, so anyways, he meets his whore at the gym. This affair, and I mean, we're laughing, but obviously Kim not. This is horrible. So this affair affected his wife, Kim, heavily because at this time she was also pregnant with their second child.
Oh.
Things escalated, and David moved out of the home and in with his mistress. And morally, it's not tough to decide who's wrong in the situation, but families often stand by their own family member. Even David's family remained in support of Kim and helped her out a lot, and they were really disgusted, by their son at that time. So Kim gave birth to their second child, their daughter Jillian, on February 28th, 1995. Both sides of the family were present, except for the father, David. He did not come to the birth. Shortly after Jillian's birth in March 1995, his affair came to an end, and he chose to reconcile things with his wife, Kim. Kim actually took him back and gave him another chance decently quickly. He moved back in with the family. Both Kim and David's families were surprised at her willingness to allow David back into their lives, but they also supported that this family was getting back together, right?
I'm also surprised, by the way.
They started building a new home together, really their dream home in Georgetown, Indiana on Lockport Road. He became an even more dedicated father and husband than before. So it really seemed like he's all in now. In 2000, everything was really clicking for the family. In the morning of September 28th, 2000, Kim got up at 6 a.m. Then David and the kids got up. David said goodbye and everyone left for work. And around 7 p.m., Kim headed home with both kids, starting to wrap up a busy day. David got home from work around 6 before his family was home. He headed out around 7. He went to go play basketball with his friends, which he did every week. Around 9:20 p.m., the basketball games ended and David headed home. It was a quick drive. The courts were only 2.5 miles from his house. David pulled into his driveway, arriving home, only to find his entire family was dead.
Oh.
A 911 call was placed at 9:30 to the Indiana State Police Department, his former place of work.
Indiana State Police Radio, Patrice, can I help you?
Get everybody out here to my house now!
Okay, all right.
My wife and my kids are dead!
Everything's going to be okay, all right? We're going to get people...
Everything's not okay! Get everybody out here now!
Do you know what happened, David?
No! They're dead! I just got home from playing basketball!
4548 Phillipsburg.
What ensues and who's actually guilty is the most shocking journey, one of the craziest ones that I've done so far.
When we come back, the conclusion to this week's Kenzie's Krimes in 3 minutes with Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 with the conclusion of Kenzie's crimes. And Kenzie, if you want to get us caught up to where we are right now in the story.
So David, Camm, and Kim met when they were just 24 and 23 years old. They started a family very quickly, and even though things seemed to be going great, David ended up having an affair, which split them apart for a little while, but they reconciled, got back together, built their dream home. Things seemed to be going great. After a busy day of activities, David got home around 9:20 in the evening to find his entire family was dead.
United States Police Radio, Patrice, can I help you?
Get everybody out here to my house now.
Okay, all right.
My wife and my kids are dead.
Everything's going to be okay, all right? We're going to get people...
Everything's not okay. Get everybody out here now.
Do you know what happened, David?
No, they're dead. I just got home from playing basketball.
4548 Sellersburg.
Within minutes, officers arrived on the scene. One of David's good friends and old work colleagues had to run a routine interview. David said in that interview that arriving home, he went to the garage, and right on the floor of the garage when he opened up the door was Kim's body. Frantically, David tried to find the kids. After seeing Kim, he looked into the Ford Bronco parked in his garage. In the back seat of the SUV, he found both of his children, Bradley and Jillian. David then rushed inside, calling 911. David told officers he believed Kim had gotten home between 7:30 and 7:40 p.m. David couldn't think of a single person with motive to kill Kim and the children. There was something a little odd about the crime scene, though. Kim's shoes were sitting on top of the vehicle. There was also a sweatshirt neatly tucked next to Bradley's lifeless body inside the SUV. Also, there was a palm print on the door of the Ford Bronco, but they couldn't identify the origin at that time. On October 1st, 2000, a few hours after the memorial service for all three of the victims, David was summoned to the Indiana State Police Department for a formal interrogation. David was incredibly hurt that the men he considered family were suspicious of him when he needed their help.
And the one moment in my life where I needed somebody to do something for me, they turned their backs on me.
A neighbor claims she heard 3 gunshots after 9 p.m. on that evening. David also had blood on his shirt. After a presumptive test, was presumed to be a high-velocity blood splatter. Despite David's consistent denial and pleading they focus on finding the real killer, 3 days after the murder, David was arrested and charged with 3 counts of murder.
Wow.
David pleaded not guilty, and he did have an airtight alibi that he was playing basketball with a large group of friends that all testified he was there. January 14th, 2002, David's trial began, and the entire prosecution based their argument on the fact that the family actually was killed when David got home from basketball. However, once the trial began, they had to change course because the autopsy confirmed the time of death was between 7:30 and 8. Prosecution suggested that David slipped away from the basketball game and came back, leveraging his knowledge of police work, knowing that if he had all these people that saw him at a basketball game, if he slipped away quickly and drove back there, nobody would really notice his absence.
Good Lord.
There was also a phone record that David placed a business call on their house phone at 7:19, just minutes before Kim and the kids were home. As the trial went on, David's defense was able to get proof the phone call was actually mislabeled. As you know, Indiana is one of the few states with 2 time zones. So the phone call was placed in one time zone, and the towers that record it was placed in the other.
It's one of the most confusing things driving through Indiana by
Oh,
South
God.
Bend. It messes me up. I say, I'll be there in like 3 hours. No, 2 hours. No, 8 hours. I don't know where I am.
Yes.
Oh, God. Jeez.
Trust me, it didn't help this case either. So,
Oh, God.
the bloodstain expert claimed it could have, the spatters actually could have been when he picked up his children out of the car. Remember, he took Bradley out. However, the blood spatters rubbed the jury the wrong way. Also, his previous affair had people's eyebrows raised. Remember, this is a jury of your peers. Not a fan of affairs usually. Kim's friend took the stand, and they said Kim vaguely made a comment before her murder that history was repeating itself. Now, Kim's friend clarified it was very vague, but she was wondering at the time if David was cheating again.
Yeah.
March 17th, 2002, the jury finally reached a verdict. David Camm was found guilty. David Camm was sentenced to over 100 years in prison.
Wow.
August 2004, the Indiana Court of Appeals overturned the conviction.
Oh.
Just get ready. In November,
was that one of his basketball buddies?
In November 2004, charges were refiled against David Camm by the new prosecutor. There had been a new key piece of evidence. Remember the gray sweatshirt tucked by Bradley's body?
Yeah.
The sweatshirt had never undergone proper analysis, and it contained key pieces of DNA as well as the word backbone written inside the collar. There was DNA on the sweatshirt that belonged to a man and a woman, but the male DNA matched with Charles Boney, a convicted felon who had recently been released from prison. Charles Boney had also received the nickname Shoe Bandit due to his obsession with feet. Remember the shoes on top of the car? He liked to keep a shoe from each victim. Kind of some things are coming together here. On February 17th, 2005.
Before you continue, I don't know where this is going with this guy.
Yes.
Well, let's not condemn the man because he likes feet.
I understand that you take that personally because you're a foot guy,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying the shoes were off her feet and he liked to collect shoes from his victim.
You're telling me my comment's going to age poorly, I think.
Yes.
And I think rather soon, too.
Yes, I would sit back if I were you.
I'm going to shut up over here.
Yeah. The feet thing isn't the problem. So on February 17th, 2005, he was brought in for interrogation. He claimed the sweatshirt was donated to the Salvation Army and that he had never met David Camm. But after a polygraph test showed he was lying, officers placed a tracker on his vehicle. The next day, he was at the cemetery where the Camm family was buried. And then he was also very close to where David Camm worked. At the same time, they were finally able to find the DNA match for the female. It brought the investigators to Trinidad. Mala Singh Mattingly was Boney's girlfriend at the time of the murders. March 4th, 2005, Charles Boney was arrested after finding out the handprint on the exterior of the car was a match to his. David was released on bond and the charges were then dropped. The relief was short-lived when hours later, David was rearrested after all this and facing conspiracy charges. He was being accused of being Boney's accomplice now.
What?
David Camm denied ever knowing Boney. However, Boney claims he met him at a basketball game in the year 2000. They met at Krimes meat market, never speaking on the phone, only in person. David wanted an untraceable firearm. Boney acquired it for it and sold it to him. He then followed him after the sale to see what he was up to because he was suspicious, and he witnessed the murders. Okay?
What?
Then David Camm saw Boney and he went up and confronted him, but the gun jammed when he pointed at him and no bullets came out. Boney chased him into the garage while running. He stumbled over her shoes and picked them up and put them on top of the car. Boney then leaned into the vehicle out of pure curiosity, and that's when his handprint ended up on the car. He then fled the scene. This is Boney's story. This is Boney's story.
I mean, it's pretty good. I'm buying it.
Is it?
I mean,
okay.
I'm kind of buying it, but then again, good thing I'm not on the jury.
March 9th, 2005, both men were charged with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of conspiracy. January 26, 2006, Boney was found guilty of the murders and conspiracy. He received a 225-year sentence.
Wow.
David Camm's trial began January 17, 2006. He was found guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole, which is crazy to me because everybody said Boney was charged for the murders. Now David Camm's getting charged for the murders.
Are they saying they both did it together?
So David Camm's trial, they tried to say it was more so he hired Boney.
Yeah.
David again appealed. June 2009, the Indiana Supreme Court reversed his second conviction. On October 24th, 2013, the jury found David not guilty.
What?
David Camm was officially free. Charles Boney maintains his innocence and says he's still a better man since he's been convicted, so he's fine with it. I don't know. He seems like a lot. David has since found love again, moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, and he currently works for a nonprofit investigating innocence committed to advocating for wrongful convictions. Kim's family has chosen to never reconcile with David.
Wow. So do you think David was involved, though?
I don't think David was involved.
Okay.
I do think it was Charles Boney. It was found that Charles Boney, at the time of the murders, was living with his mother. His mother would send him out on errands. One of those errands was Kareem's meat market. That's where she constantly sent him. Apparently, Kim and the kids often shopped there. They thought there was a chance he picked out his victims that way.
Kenzie's Krimes.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a north side apartment.
Not because I was angry with them, not because I hated them, but because I wanted to keep them with me.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.
This is evil, what those people have done to me.
C says Heaven's Gate away team.
Q101.